Welcome to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast series. I am your host, Ann Austin, CEO and founder of ALSTNTEC LLC, and it is my pleasure once again to bring quality programs to all of you. Today we have a very special guest speaker that's going to help us learn how to manage our stress and to improve our spiritual energies. And, one of the things that is really important that as business owners, it is very important for us to not only manage our business, but to also manage our spiritual healing. We go through the day just, trucking through meetings, conversations, projects, deadlines, and we often become so overwhelmed with all the daily tasks that our inner spirit is unsettled. And so how do we manage the stress and anxiety that we internalize on a daily basis, and how do we calm our energies down? So today our guest speaker is not only knowledgeable in spiritual management, but she is also trained to show us how to manage our stress. So with that, I would like to introduce Jennifer Garcia, who is the owner of Spiritual Spectra. Spiritual Spectra is a spiritual and holistic healing practice offering an array of services that increase wellness through the mind, body, and spirit connection. Jennifer was born with psychic, intuitive, empathetic abilities, and she is also a certified energy healer. And she uses her abilities to promote energy healing to, anyone who needs it. Before becoming an entrepreneur herself, Jennifer worked as a senior academic advisor at the University of Maryland and previously a university instructor at Florida International University. And there she was helping college students to learn and grow personally and professionally. During this time, she also owned and operated a marketing and design business company called Logic Creative for about 7 years. She has talents to do web development, design, writing, and she used her problem-solving skills to help small business owners market their business. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the podcast, Jennifer Garcia.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Ann, for inviting me to be a part of this podcast.
Awesome, Jennifer. So, I'm very excited because, I myself, being very transparent on these podcasts, I am very spiritually bound. And so I know for me, I deal with a lot of stress. I have a lot going on, and I can use some advice on how to help manage my stress. And hopefully today you can help everyone else who's listening to the podcast. If anything that you say today will apply to them, then maybe they could take away and help. So can you kind of start with, your techniques, what you do, and, how can, just give us some of, the tools and techniques that we need to do to manage our stress?
Certainly. Stress is a part of our daily lives. When stress is compounded, it can lead to migraines, nausea, weight gain, ulcers, and even heart attacks. So managing stress is vital to staying happy and healthy. Because, as you mentioned, we often live our lives in a rush. We often think that it might be easier just to pop a pill and rather than try to really find alternative ways to dealing with our stress. But popping a pill eventually can really adversely affect you. And I speak from experience because, when I was younger, I used to suffer from headaches, and I would just take an ibuprofen pill and, wait for the headache to go away. But after years of doing this, one pill wasn't enough, so then I had to take 2 pills. And then finally I got to the point where I had to take 3, and that's when I stopped myself and said, yeah, there's something wrong here. And that's what happens is our body becomes used to the medicine, so we have to increase the dosage to make it potent. And that's just not healthy for our bodies. And so back in 2012, I really took stock of my life. And after years of much stress, I had gained a lot of weight, and I realized that it was time for a change in my life. And so I made actually quite a few changes. One was pursuing the career that I'm in right now. That was the biggest change. And the other was to really look at alternative wellness. I would get massages, and I'd been to acupuncture, and it helped, but it really didn't serve me as well as it could have. And so I took a class in energy healing and eventually got certified in energy healing. And in addition to being able to help others with my energy healing, I found that it helped me along the way. What I discovered was that not only did it alleviate the symptoms of stress, but it helped me to better deal with stressful situations and how to manage stress in my life. And so I really realized how much I had not been managing stress in my life. I mean, I think I always knew, but it really drove it home when I took a totally different perspective. And suddenly I didn't have to be popping pills and I didn't have to be stressed all the time. I learned how to better manage my stress. And
Okay,
so,
so let me ask you a question. I'm sorry to interrupt because this is so interesting. So I guess for my own edification, what exactly is spirit, healing that you were talking about as far as the spirits? I kind of want to understand exactly what that really means.
oh, certainly, certainly. Well, energy healing is a gentle yet powerful healing therapy. It releases stress, anxiety, negativity, and emotional baggage, and really helps you overall with your emotional and spiritual health. It can also help to transform negative thoughts and promote positive thinking. What's great about it is that it's simple, natural, and safe. It's not like a medicine that's going to, adversely affect you down the road. And how it works is during a treatment, you are laid down on a massage table where you can also be sitting down and you stay clothed the entire time. And the practitioner places his or her hands lightly on or just above your physical body to apply the energy healing. And the benefit is that it takes away all of the stress that's in your body to help prevent any of these symptoms that might be occurring due to stress. And what's great is for someone who's maybe coming to treatment for the first time and is already feeling terrible symptoms, it can alleviate those symptoms.
Awesome. So I guess for me, it's almost like, I guess if I had to visualize it, it's almost like I'm kind of like getting the massage. I mean, is there like a special technique that they're using to kind of make the difference that this is energy healing and not so much, that I'm laying on a table and kind of getting a massage? I mean, are there kind of like soothing words or, maybe things that they're doing to calm me the whole entire time that I'm there and really kind of getting into the healing energy portion of the treatment?
Certainly. The difference between massage therapy and energy healing, aside from the fact that you remain clothed during energy healing, is massage therapy is about targeting your muscles. Okay. And so your muscles are tense and it releases the tension in your muscles. Energy healing is about going a little bit deeper into the energy channels in your body so that it gets to the source of where the stress is in your body. So your muscles are already feeling the effect, just like if you got a headache or nausea. These are all symptoms. But the energy channels in the body, they get blocked when we're stressed out. And what energy healing does is it applies energy into the body to open up these channels, also known as chakras, and it opens them up so that your body begins to heal itself. And it's part of the body's way of healing itself. You work in
Wow.
conjunction with the practitioner.
So the person who's helping me with my, treatment has to really have a strong, positive, healing energy because, if I'm there, I'm thinking I'm intaking all of this healing and this positive and all that. They have to really be, have that energy to transfer to me and say, hey, let your body just heal itself. And it's amazing how you kind of put it that way because I'm thinking, how will my body know to heal itself? But, this is all beyond me. And this is just my questions that I'm asking. And I'm certain that I will probably understand it once I go through it. So for people, I guess, who is a skeptic like me, what are some of the things that you can say that will say, this is something you really have to try to see if it works for you?
Well, from a scientific standpoint, if the first law of thermodynamics states that energy is transformed through the process of heat, energy, and internal work. And that is exactly the principle by which energy healing works in the body. It works with the body's internal energy, with the body's heat, as well as the practitioner's heat and energy that is being placed into the body of the client. And in terms of the body of how it works, is that the energy comes into the body and it targets the different areas that need work. And in terms of what you were saying, is how does the body know to heal itself? The body is actually an amazing thing. Think about it. If you fall and you scrape your knee, right? You put, you might usually will clean it up, put some alcohol, and then you put in a Band-Aid. So basically, you're just cleaning it up. I mean, you might put some antibiotic to get rid of, any potential poisons. But the body itself heals that wound over time. It's not like when you have to sew up a wound that's really gauging. But even the small ones, the body just heals itself. The cells begin to regenerate and it heals. And that's what energy healing does. It works with our body's already ability to heal itself.
Gotcha.
It just gives it that extra boost that it needs to be able to heal itself.
Awesome. Okay, I never even thought of it that way at all. So, what are some of the best practices that we can do to manage our stress and maybe try to help in the interim of having your treatment and things like that we could help heal our bodies?
Certainly, there's a couple of techniques that you can do at home, you can do it at work or wherever you are, that can help you to manage your stress. The first that I'd like to talk about is deep breathing. Now, this is really great for when you're actually under a great deal of duress, a major stress, a moment of crisis, because during those times, your heart tends to beat fast, your stomach tightens, you're short of breath. So your body really is telling you, hey, you're under duress. You need to take a deep breath. You need to take a stop. Your body's warning you that something worse is going to happen if you don't stop. And so when you're under deep duress, that's when deep breathing is really helpful to you. So how it works is, one thing, you want to get away from whatever your stressful situation is, to find a quiet space, so that you can be by yourself, so that you're not impacted by the people around you, or whatever stressful situation is going on. Then you sit down and you take a deep breath. Very slowly inhale and slowly exhale. So you're going to take a deep breath in. And you're going to do it as deeply as you possibly can. So
that sounds very relaxing when you did that. It almost made me yawn just a little bit. A lot of us don't take deep breaths, and that is so true. I know I don't sometimes when I am under duress and stress. I don't take a moment to pause and just say, okay, I need to take a deep breath and release.
And in fact, what our body tends to do when we're stressed is actually take short, tiny little breaths. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know exactly why that happens, but that's what we do. We take these short little breaths. And so not enough oxygen is really getting into the body or getting into the brain. And so that's why your body gets into a further state of stress, because it's not getting the oxygen that it needs. So a deep breath, not only, like you said, it made you yawn, it makes you relax, but it's also making sure that your body gets the oxygen that it needs. Okay, because when we're stressed, we take very short breaths. The other thing to do when you take your deep breath is you want to visualize positive energy coming into your body as your lungs are filling up with air. And then as you exhale, picture all the negative energy that you've just endured, whatever the stress is, being released from your body. With each breath, you want to picture healing energy coming in, replenishing you. letting all the and then as you exhale, visualize all of that toxicity of your body just being released. So I would recommend minimum of doing 3 deep breaths. You don't want to do too many at a time, but you want to take, I want to say 3 deep breaths. And then you want to just take a moment to just kind of relax your muscles and just take a moment to just take a pause and just relax. Let your mind be clear. And this can take all of 5 minutes, but 5 minutes that can make a difference between you handling a situation in a good way and you falling apart.
Wow. Okay. So, what are the other best practices? I know I kind of interrupt you there, but I think, like you said, is very. We don't think about that. It's the smallest thing, but we don't think about when to pause and take a breath when we're under stress because we're so busy trying to deal with it at the time. And I know that that is one of the things that I have to work on is to take a minute and deep breathe and just calm myself, and that way I can think clearly. And but many times we're under so much pressure, deadlines, and we don't think about that. So what are the next couple of things that you wanted to talk about?
The other I'd like to mention is meditation. Now, deep breathing is great for just a crisis mode, but we have stress on a regular basis, whether we're in full crisis mode or whether it's just a small problem. But several small problems throughout the day, by the end of the day, can stress you out. So, meditation throughout the day, as you're dealing with these little problems, can help you cope so that by the end of the day, you're not exhausted and drained because you've been dealing with all of these little problems throughout the day. We sometimes think of stress as major occasions, terrible trauma. But if we have even small ones, but several of them, that can also build up. So it's good throughout the day to address these so that when the end of the day comes, you just don't fall, fall in bed and just be like, I'm freaking
Right.
out. And so
Yeah,
get away from me. I don't want to talk to you. I'm stressed out.
that's right. I'm stressed out. That's right. We often are stressed out, falling in the bed, and things. All that goes together. Okay, so what is your third one? That I love the two so far.
Let me tell you a little bit of how you meditate. Because a lot of people, when I say meditation, think, okay, I have to meditate for hours. I have to sit in the lotus pose, and I have to light incense. And so they're like, oh, I don't have time for that. Or that's just too hard, or I can't do it. That's the first reaction I always get. And so the first thing I tell people is you don't have to be sitting in a particular position. You don't have to light incense. And it could be all of 10 minutes. Meditation doesn't matter how long the length of time. Okay. It doesn't have to be for hours. Even if you just take 10 minutes out of your day, you can meditate. And there's 3 different ways that I recommend, especially for beginners. One technique is a walking meditation. Now, that's basically getting out of your environment wherever it is, preferably in nature, but at least getting out of your environment wherever your stress is causing you. And take a time to walk by yourself. And as you do, you're going to focus on your breathing, not deep breaths, because it's kind of hard to take a deep breath and walk at the same time. But you're going to focus on your breathing. You're going to focus on the energy around you, the oxygen coming from the trees around you, coming into you, the carbon dioxide, letting go of your stress as you exhale it out. And so walking meditation can help you to, number one, get you out of your environment. And also physically, the exercise is good for your body. Another type of meditation that's really good for beginners is music meditation. And one of the things that people say is that, oh, I can't meditate because my mind just keeps going. I have this deadline, I have this to do, and I have so many things, and my mind's so cluttered. And so what's good about a music meditation is that you play some music that's instrumental, that's peaceful. And so you focus on the music and you just listen to the music. So that way you distract your mind from what's going on. And the third one I recommend is a guided meditation. So this is even better for people that really have a cluttered mind, because with a guided meditation, it could be in person in a class, or it could be a CD, or even an MP3 that you download on your computer. But a guided meditation, what it can do for you is that the person who's giving the meditation, they send you on a journey. They describe a beautiful place, things that are happening, what relaxation, and they describe this beautiful scene. And so you focus your mind on that. And as you do, all of that other worries and stuff goes away. And you just bit by bit relax as you get deeper and deeper into that meditative state. And your body suddenly stops being stressed out.
Wow. I'm relaxed already. I am. I'm just listening because I never knew that there were these type of methods. We hear about meditation, and in my mind, I'm just seeing myself sitting there and with my eyes closed and I'm breathing, and that's pretty much, I'm thinking that's all it is to it. But it's always good to know that there are different tools and techniques to meditation that will help you kind of, that's built for whoever you are. I mean, like, your method may not work for someone else, and definitely not for me, but just knowing that there's a way to meditate. And me personally, I did not know that there were so many different ways that you can meditate. I think for the music one that you mentioned, I love to listen to music when I'm a little stressed out. So maybe unconsciously I was doing that method a lot, but I find myself always playing music to calm down. So I was listening, and I'm so astonished by some of the things that you're talking about, because I never knew these things were out there.
Oh, I know. We have one way of meditating, and that's so not true. And you were doing that, whether you realized it or not, just instinctively. You just knew, okay, music relaxes me, so I'm going to listen to music. And I tend to recommend instrumental versus words, because depending on the music that you've chosen, the words could be, may not be positive, and so they might bring you down. And so that's with instrumental, that way you're not focusing on the words, you're just focusing on the music that's relaxing you.
Awesome.
And you just
Awesome.
need to find the technique that works for you. So if that works for you, then keep doing it. But, each person is different. And so one style of meditation might not work for one person. And so I recommend that everybody just try all three techniques at different times of the day and different days of the week, and just see what works for you, and also what works for your lifestyle. Because if you're in an office, you may not be able to play music. you
That is
know?
true. That is true. You can't play music every time you're in the office. So what do you do? And for those busy business owners, how do we find time to do any of these techniques is the key. I'm actually just picturing myself as, I'm going through the day and all the things that I'm busy doing all day. I guess it's up to me to say, okay, instead of checking this email, I should take 5 minutes to just deflate and breathe or meditate, to kind of like keep myself steady throughout the day so I can think clearly. But because I'm in so many meetings and talking to so many people, I forget to take care of me, or I forget to say I'm having a stressful moment, and maybe I don't realize that I'm stressed, and I have to pause and realize that I need to take a few minutes to calm down.
I mean, it's good to actually, if you can, even put it in your schedule. Like, let's say, for example, you've got back-to-back meetings, right? Give yourself 5 minutes in between those meetings, or if you're, one of the things, for example, if you're driving, you can even meditate as you're driving. Okay. Now, you got to make sure not to get too relaxed, because we don't want people getting into accidents out there.
Right, and that's a challenge for me. The driving part and trying to relax. I call myself trying to do that, but it's difficult. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are listening today are listening to this podcast, and they're looking at their situation and thinking, how can I integrate some of this good stuff into my daily task? And so that's a challenge that I'm willing to head on for myself and overcome those barriers, to take the time and to manage my stress. You know, and I kind of want you to kind of talk about a little bit about your business and, some of the services that you provide in terms of spiritual healing or energy healing or any of the things that you may talk about. So talk to us about Spiritual Spectra.
Well, Spiritual Spectra is a holistic wellness business, and I have a variety of services that help individuals in terms of healing and wellness. We talked a little bit about energy healing before, and so that's certainly a service that I offer. And it's what's great that I hear from my clients is when they leave and they have a smile on their face, and when they came in, they were all grimacing, and so and that they just feel that sense of peace. And so, in addition to energy healing that deals with the stress that's in your body and releasing, the other service that I have that I feel can also help with stress. One of the biggest stresses we have is in making decisions. Do I make this decision? Which fork in the road do I take? What do I do? What does the future hold for me? And so I offer spiritual consultations, and so I guide people on a variety of different situations, whether it be their personal life, their romantic life, their work, their career, what direction they want to take in their life. And so spiritual consultation can help alleviate all of that anxiety by giving them a proper direction so that when they leave, they know, okay, this is the direction that I need to take, or this is how I can solve this particular issue. The other services that I provide is I do medium readings. And so this is a real benefit for people that are grieving. When in our society, we have, a ritual that we go through. We have a funeral. But just because we have that doesn't mean that the grieving ends when that ends. For some people, grieving can last decades. And so being able to communicate with your loved ones in spirit, to know that they are at peace, to know that they still watch over you. For those that maybe, when they passed had some unresolved issues, and being able to communicate with that and being able to realize that all of that emotional baggage is gone now. Everything's been resolved. There's nothing left for you to hang on to anymore. You can finally let it go. Can give someone a great deal of peace of mind. And so these are kind of the three cornerstone pieces of services that I offer. I offer them individually at my office, but I also offer a corporate wellness program. So if a business, really wants to optimize their employees, make sure that they're healthy and efficient and working hard, they can invite me to come out to their business. And I will do the various services, whether it be consultation or energy healing, whichever the employer desires or feels that their employees need most, and come out to their workplace and apply it to the employer as well as their employees.
Awesome. So I guess for the last part of this segment, with your business and everything, can you just kind of tell everyone who's listening, why is it very important for businesses to have someone of your services? Because a lot of businesses are trying to implement some type of health and wellness program. Some do, where they check your blood, or they do weight, or they do healthy walking. But for your specific business, why would it be very instrumental to have your services also included in that?
Certainly, it's because we are not one-dimensional human beings. Our bodies, yes, we need fitness, we need training, certainly we need screenings, but our emotions impacts our health. That's, the stress that's caused in our body can impact us in a negative way. Even if you don't get a headache or an ulcer, it also can weaken your immune system, so it makes you more susceptible to colds. And so when an employee is more susceptible to colds, when they're having headaches or ulcers, that means they got to take time off work. Or if they're at work, they're not working at their optimum, way. They're not being efficient because they're not feeling well. And so, health is not one-dimensional. And so what energy healing does, and spiritual consultations as well, is it helps with that emotional aspect of it. Because if someone is worried about, their kid, and they're stressed out about that, well, they may not be, on that phone with your client and thinking about their kid. Well, that's not really what you want them to be. You want them to be focused on the work day. And so that's what I can do, is help them alleviate those stresses from them so that they can work efficiently. They can be focused on the work. It can even help with workplace communication. If you've got two employees that aren't getting along, well, there might be something that energy healing can do that can help to alleviate the stress that's being caused between these two people. And that can certainly impact, the business negatively if employees aren't working well together. So emotion, we try to ignore it in the workplace. We think, oh, we'll just, shut down your emotions. But that's not the case. We all know it's not. And so if your employees are healthy physically, but they're also healthy emotionally, then they're going to do a lot better job. And they're going to be much more loyal to you as an employer. And if you want to retain good employees, you want to make sure that they're happy. And so if they're happy and healthy, they're more likely to stay with you for the long haul and do better work for you.
Awesome. This is fantastic. So I guess in summary, that making sure that our bodies are healthy and happy by making sure that we are able to manage stress, to make sure that we are able to heal our bodies through either your services or even just doing the methods that you mentioned to help heal our bodies is very important. Not so much just being a business owner, but just individually and personally. And everybody, has different levels of stress that they are able to manage or not manage. But it's still very important for this particular podcast. Why I wanted to include Jennifer here is because we do sometimes are so busy with whatever it is that we got going on in our lives. And it's so important for us to take a pause and to, reflect and heal our bodies and manage our stress so that we can live productive lives and think clearly and just do all the things that we kind of want to do. So, Jennifer, I want to thank you today for coming onto the podcast. And if you can please tell everyone how they can find you or your services or your website.
Certainly. My website is spiritualspectra.com. You can reach me at info@spiritualspectra.com. You can call me at 888-934-3642. That's toll free. I'm also on Facebook under Spiritual Spectra, and Twitter and Pinterest as well under Spiritual Spectre. So I hope that you will reach out to me. And I want to tell you one thing that I'm working on for the future is I'm actually in the process of developing meditation workshops and guided meditation CDs. So
Awesome.
If you're interested in hearing about that, contact me at info@spiritualspectra.com, and I can get you on my email list and let you know when that's coming out.
Awesome. And as usual, guys, all of her contact information will be listed on this webpage with her recording that you're listening to now and her bio. So if any time that you need to contact her, please do. If you can't, reach out to me and I will see if I can connect you with, Jennifer or any of the people that you hear on this podcast. And Jennifer, again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and really sharing some really good information for us.
Thanks again for the invite. I really appreciate it.